Hi there, happy Monday. It's August 5th, 2019, and I'm here with my intuition video. I am going to focus on a piece that we read last night in our intuition book club. I put it here in this video as well on Facebook, but I wanted to go back because it talks about anger. I've talked about anger before. We have obviously had this crazy weekend in our country where you know, as everybody knows, violence, mass shootings. And so I'm going to focus a little bit on anger and what to do and individually. And I don't know if anybody has listened to Marianne Williamson speak. She's actually an author that our book club has read her books, A Return to Love, and she is now running for president. So I've listened to her a little bit, and I believe one statement that she says, and that is that we cannot combat darkness with darkness. We must turn to light, and we must do that within ourselves. And I think that was Martin Luther King's statement, actually. So I'm going to focus just on one paragraph that we read out of a chapter we read last night. And the book is called The Magic Path of Intuition. I highly recommend this book. It's a simple, quick read. It's written in the 1920s. But the quote is that many people think if they can control their temper and not show anger, it is enough. This is not the case. The vibration goes out just the same. As long as you can be moved inwardly, there will be discord in your life. You must be cleansed to be free from anger and the effects of anger. Don't let appearances rock your boat. Okay, so this is written in the 20s, so I always like do a little disclaimer, like you can't get caught up in the semantics. The word cleansed is not something that I necessarily would use, but what she's talking about in this book is that if we just pretend like we're fine, and we're coming out of, I've talked about this before, we are coming out of an era or a couple of generations where, like after World War II, people didn't discuss their feelings. They didn't discuss really what was going on. We didn't address PTSD in our culture. So people came back from World War II, that era, they're called the silent generation, and they just kind of went back, got into life. Well, underneath all of that were a lot of heavy emotions, especially when people come back from war. I'm speaking directly from the fact that I come from a heavy military family, and so there is a need to be able to identify our emotions, and that's where we're moving into this emotionally intelligent society right now, and there's a lot of people who are feeling lost and don't know how to do that, partly because in earlier times it was thought of as weak, or people didn't have a place to go to talk about it. Actually, there's even stories of people when they've come forward with some of their anger been put in mental institutions, in the 1950s. So I get why people haven't done that if they are older and they have experienced that. But what's happening is that we have to start looking. So it's part of why I do my video. It's part of why we do our intuition book club. So when it talks about the vibration goes out the same, okay, so I don't know about you, but I'm pretty in tune now that if I'm walking around somebody, I can kind of sense if somebody's angry or not right. And that's using discernment. Because I have done so much cleansing, getting rid of the stuff, everybody has had stuff happen to them. Everybody. It's those who don't want to talk about what's happened to them that they get blocked off. They don't know where, they can't feel their way through. They don't have their guidance system in check. They're reacting to life. The idea is to be able to say, yeah, something's happened to me, or something's happened to everyone. It might not be talking about it. It might be cleansing in a way that that you do in art. Art therapy is amazing. Some people do dance, some people do, but it's your own awareness of what has happened to you, the feelings around it, and then how do you dispel it so that you can walk through the world and not get so moved by what somebody says on the television or what somebody says walking by to you, that you can have a stand in a place of knowing who you are and knowing that you are being guided by your own internal intuition, that we don't have control over people, places, and things, period. We just don't, but we do have control over our own feelings, our own thoughts, in a sense, we can recognize them and make those changes. So I loved that quote out of the book. And as long as you can be moved inwardly, there will be discord in your life. And that is so true. I have noticed as I have practiced this today, so this week is a very, I could easily just go to bed and pull the covers over my head this week. My aunt passed away on Tuesday. Today is my dad's birthday. He passed away on July 24th, 11 years ago, and I had another close cousin pass away on this day a couple of years ago. There's been a lot of death in my family, and one very recently that was someone close to us. But I'm not willing to just, I want to acknowledge that pain and then be able to go out into the world for me and find some joy and find some, but I'm also being guided in my own heart to take care of myself. So I went to yoga, I did writing this morning, I'm doing my video, I'm going to work for a little bit, I'll pick up my son, and then I'll regroup again this afternoon. So I'm not, in my family, I don't know why I want to say this, but I'm going to say this. On my dad's side of the family, they were really kind of ruled by my great-grandfather, who was very much not okay with anybody sharing anything about the family. There was a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse. And there were family members that died in that family, and it was as if you weren't allowed to talk about them. And that kind of stuff that happens in families where you cannot talk about people of the past because it brings up too much pain, or you cannot talk about anything, that is a signal that some work is to be done. And to be kind to yourself and to just be open to allowing someone to come into your life, whether that be a therapist. I've had therapists, I've had friends. I right now do my intuition book club. We do a lot of this there. We're very safe. We're a safe circle of women who are all doing this together. So I can go there and share intimate details of my life that I know is not going anywhere else. I highly recommend finding those people in your life right now. This is a time where a lot of us in our country are really lost as far as what's going to happen. And I just am a true believer that when we on ourselves change, the world outside of us changes. And if we look to the light in ourselves, whatever that is, for you, for me, it's the light in myself, my own intuition, and to walk out into the world and look for joy and kindness and honesty, then my world gets better. Anyways, that's Monday. I hope you have a good week. I'll be back on Friday. Hi, Maureen. I see you watching. I wanted to say hi. And I'll see you guys Friday. Bye.